Welcome to another segment of Chat with the Monarch. Have you filed your residential homestead exemption? Do you know what it is? Well, if you don't, get ready because this segment is just for you and the deadline is fast approaching. Let's get ready and roll that intro. Being in the real estate industry, there's many exemptions individuals don't know about. And our goal is to educate not only our clients, but the community as well. Please allow me to introduce to you two of our very own, the Texas Twin Realtors.
Hello everyone, it's Lacey Silva with the Monarch team, and today I'm very eager to share with you information on how to file for your residential homestead exemption. Whether you're a current homeowner or a future homeowner, this information is just for you.
Absolutely. My name is Kaley Silva, who is ecstatic to touch base about this topic and answer any questions about residential homestead exemption. Believe it or not, many people don't know what it is or how to even file it. So without further ado, let's welcome little Sauda back to this segment.
Welcome, Lacey. Are you ready to talk about this excited and fun topic of residential homestead?
Yes, I am. A lot of people actually don't know about this, and that's why I'm very excited to be here.
You know, they don't, and this is why we're having this conversation, because I just had a client come to me. Well, actually, I didn't sell at the house, but it's okay. I'm not mad. He didn't know that he actually could qualify for this exemption, and he's missing on all of these added benefits without even knowing, which is why I'm going to start with the first question, Lacey. What is a residential homestead exemption?
The homestead exemption is basically a legal provision that allows homeowners to reduce the amount that they owe on their taxes annually.
That's exactly right. And to not confuse it even more, please note that your value is based on your assessed value and not your market value. Market value is what your property is valued at the current market. But an assessed value is what a tax authority places on your property. That multiplied by the tax rate is what you're going to pay in property taxes. From that, if you qualify for this homestead exemption, then you get to reduce the amount that you pay on your property taxes. Now, Lacey, my next question is, how do you qualify for this type of exemption?
So the most important thing is whatever property that you're applying for, that must be your primary residence. And you must have been living there since January 1st. For example, if I move into a property on March 31st, I cannot file until the following year.
That is absolutely right. Very good point. And you also need to know that a LLC or a partnership or any other corporation does not qualify for this exemption because, like Lacey just mentioned, it has to be your primary residence. You as an individual have to have complete ownership of the property. That means if you are married, both of you, because this is Texas, are community property, which means that you have 100% ownership on this property. Now, you can also be an heir, and with that, you need additional documentation to prove that you are the sole owner of this property. If, for example, there's multiple ownership, let's say 50% with your brother or somebody else, now you're only going to be granted that percentage of ownership for the residential homestead exemption.
Right, and that will depend on how much interest the individual has on the property.
Tell us how much can be deducted from the property taxes.
Right, so it varies from the state, the county, and how much interest they have on the property, but generally it can be up to a 20% reduction. 20%
reduction. Any savings are good savings, which is why when my clients come to me and the first thing that I want to look at is, are you filing, because of course, what's the first thing that goes up on your mortgage payment? Probably your property taxes. And when they're coming over here and asking me, why did my payment go up? Well, let me check your property taxes. The first thing that I want to ask is, did you file your property tax homestead exemption? Why? Because 20% can help you reduce that payment. And of course, if they, come to the Monarch team, then we've already filed that homestead exemption for you. But when they don't, then I want to know, okay, let's file it. The first thing that we've got to do is file it. Why? Because you get 2 years, you can go back 2 years to be able to apply for this homestead exemption. That's 40% of 40% of your, on the 2 years, cumulative. Lacey, when is the deadline to apply for the homestead exemption?
So generally the deadline to submit the completed application and all the required documents is April 30th for which the year you're filing for.
So you still have time. Now, also be mindful that homestead assessed value has a maximum. What does this mean? Technically, a Texas homestead assessed value is limited to the lesser of the market value or the market value of any new improvements and 110% of the preceding year.
That's right. So in other words, there is an immortalized 10% cap rate, which saves the homeowners from an overbearing increase in property taxes from year to year. For example, if Rosada's property tax assessment was $250,000, it would be very unrealistic for it to go up to $500,000.
Perfectly said. Well, surprise, surprise. Kaley, how are you?
Good, how are you?
We're doing great and just learned so much about homestead exemptions that I'm eager to know how to even file these forms. First things first, where do you get these forms?
Great question. So these forms can actually be obtained through your county's appraisal district's office or the Texas Comptroller office, which can be linked down below.
Absolutely. Now, keep in mind, each county appraisal district is different. So here I have to my right the Harris County form, and this is the one that we obtained from the Texas Comptroller's office. Very important to note, when you fill out these forms, do not send the forms to the Texas Comptroller's office. Kaley, you know that you can also file online?
Yes, you can apply online. Most counties allow you to apply on the County Appraisal District's website, and if it doesn't, we will be going over the documents that are able to be mailed out.
That's right, and today we will fill out these forms, but like I said, keep in mind, this is from Harris County Appraisal District and this one's from the Texas Comptroller's office. Same information, different formats. First things first, where do you find your account number? Because you have to list it on the form. The county needs to know which property account number you're talking about. Kaley, where can you find the account numbers?
Perfect question. So in order to find your account number, all you have to do is go online to your County Appraisal District's website, and you can either type in your home address that you're applying for or your full legal name.
And tax year, remember how we mentioned you can go back 2 years? If you are applying for a different tax year that's not this current year, remember you have to live in the property when? The beginning of the year, January 1st. If you are having a late application on the Texas Comptroller's office, it gives you that option to say, yes, I'm filing a late application. Which tax year are you applying for? So if we're in 2023 now, you want to apply for 2022, go ahead and mark that 2022 on your form, either on the Harris County or the Texas Comptroller's office. Now, Kaley, if you're not obtaining your form from the County Appraisal District's office, on the Texas Comptroller's office, where are they going to know which county you're residing?
Well, on the top right corner, you should be able to find the appraisal district's name, which should coordinate to your own county.
To your own county. Also keep in mind that whenever you get your tax statements, your property tax statements, you're able to find your account number and the county that you reside in, that your property's in. Other things to note is there's many exemptions that you can qualify for. We wouldn't know that every individual is different. But Kaley, what are the type of exemptions that you can qualify for?
There are actually several different exemptions that one can apply for, one being the general residential exemption, over 65, disability, and surviving spouse. Today we are mainly focusing on the general residential, but you can note that all of these may require different documentation.
What kind of required documentation is needed for the general residential?
The most important and prominent identification is a ID or state identification that has a address that corresponds to the property address that you're trying to apply for.
And what I would like to add to that, Kaley, is for those of you who this is not their first home, but let's say, for example, that you sold your last property and you're buying another one this year, you can transfer that exemption from the last property to this one. For example, because on the form it specifically says, were you receiving a residence homestead exemption on your previous residence? Yes, you were. Are you transferring an exemption from a previous residence? Yes, you are. So make sure you check those off, because it's very important to note that that is no longer your primary residence. This is your primary residence now, and that is where you want to get your exemption from.
Great point, Rosaura. That leads us to property information, where it asks the date that you acquired the property, which is also known as the date that you first closed on the home, or better yet, the date that you first occupied the property. It also asks if the participant is identified on the deed. How do you know this? Well, this information is usually given to you at the title company where you closed, or you can also ask your real estate agent to help you close on the property.
And why do they want to know this information? Obviously, they want to make sure that you are owner of this property, and it asks for specifically a deed record or instrument number that you can add there. And like Kaley just said, that can be given to you by your real estate professional that helped you or your title representative. Kaley, did you know that you can also attach the information of the if you have a mobile home, the manufactured home, make, model, and ID number needs to be listed there. Like I said, this form asks many questions that you may not know about. So it's always important to know who you can ask these questions so that you can get that information and attach it here. Because if you don't, it's going to be missed and you're not going to qualify for the homestead exemption.
That's right. And not only that, but this form also includes a section that talks about waiving required documentation if one of the following applies to you.
And that is residential homestead application in a nutshell. Don't forget to put your name and who is filling out this information. Is it the property owner, your legal representative? I don't know, but make sure that you also sign it and date it. You do not want to submit an incomplete application to the county because they're going to give it back and they're going to tell you you don't qualify. So fill it out as best as you can. As we mentioned before, if you have any questions or concerns, who can they call, Kaley?
Kaley Silva, Lacey Silva, or Rosada Aringo.
That is correct. Thank you, Kaley and Lacey, for providing so much information about this specific and special topic that so many missed. I hope you don't miss this topic anymore because we've tried to explain as much as we could. But if you do, you can always reach out to us. And if you want to buy a property or you want to sell, where can they reach you at, girls?
You can find us on Instagram at Texas Twin Realtors or reach us at our personal phone and email, which will be on the screen.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to Chat with the Monarch. And if you have any feedback, let us know. Until next time, chat and move with the Monarch.